Let's jump in straight away and start with the dissatisfaction scale, and I want you to rate yourself on that scale. This is super important. How dissatisfied do you get with your tennis? 10 is you are absolutely disgusted with yourself. A 0 is it doesn't bother you at all if you make a mistake or not. Pause the video if you need to and pick where you are on that scale. Now, if you're a 0, 1, 2, or 3 on that scale, you're not really going to improve or improve quickly because you just don't care enough. If you're a 7, 8, 9, or 10, it's the same thing. You aren't really going to improve that quickly. But this time, because you are so upset with yourself, you can only focus on what you did wrong instead of the solution to what you did wrong. So the sweet spot here is 4, 5, or 6. You are dissatisfied enough that you're going to do something about what you did wrong, and then you are determined and focused on the solution. This leads me to talking about determination. Players and coaches will often talk about using frustration to help you play better. Frustration is quick to give you power, but it unbalances you. So where they're getting mixed up is it's actually determination that helps you play better, not frustration. But there is a fine line between determination and frustration. I'll show you what I mean. I'm gonna talk to myself in a determined way. Come on, Greg, you're better than that. More height over the net. Now I'll talk to myself in a frustrated way. Oh, you're so bad. What's wrong with you? Another ball in the net. You see how the tone of my voice was very similar in both, but there is a difference. Determination is outward. You are talking to yourself about doing something different to what you just did. Your focus is forwards. Frustration is inwards, just negativity towards yourself. So to link everything together, you need to be the right amount dissatisfied. A 0, 1, 2, 3 is not gonna work because you just don't care enough. 7, 8, 9, or 10 is also no good because that's when you're just gonna get frustrated. You are only focused on what you did wrong, and now you're being inwardly negative towards yourself. So you must be a 4, 5, or 6, dissatisfied enough to make a change and therefore determined to make that change. You want to do the 1, 2, 3 at the end of the point, like I spoke about in my previous video, so that you are calm, but going into the next point, you are talking to yourself in a way where you feel very determined and energized. Now, we are going to talk about your mistake threshold. Your mistake threshold is how many mistakes do you make before you start to become too dissatisfied and therefore frustrated. I find for most players, it's how many really bad mistakes they make in a row, which usually comes from a big loss of focus. Take a moment to think about what your mistake threshold might be. I want for your mistake threshold to be as high as possible so that you don't get frustrated. I want you to get dissatisfied enough and focused enough so that you actually make a change. Again, if your dissatisfaction levels get too high, you will get frustrated and you won't change. This is important for both training and matches. Work on being kinder to yourself. Humans who are rewarded for good behavior learn quicker and retain what they have learned far better than humans who are punished for bad behavior. Trust me, I've tried it on myself. Being tough on yourself doesn't get you where you want to go. By far and away, fear is the best motivator. We've seen that through history. But if you do care about someone's mental health and you want them to become the best version of themselves possible, and you want them to be able to problem solve for themselves, and I'm talking about you and other people, you must reward yourself. What you focus on grows. So focus on what you're doing well and what you want to do better, not obsessing over what you didn't do well and ridiculing yourself for it. I've had many sessions on court with players who are especially negative towards themselves, and I don't mention anything negative at all. I will tell them exactly what I want them to do. Every time they don't do it, I ignore it completely. But the moment I see a glimpse of what I want them to do, I praise them so much, and you wouldn't believe the results I get. This is why expectations are so bad. Expectations are you either do it or you don't. That's it. There is no room for if players actually improve within what they are aiming for. So as soon as you don't meet an expectation, despite whether you got closer to doing what you wanted to do or not, you don't feel good enough. And you start to feel like you have to be perfect because expectations are you do it or you don't. You're perfect or you're not, which leads to being a perfectionist. I'm going to be doing a completely separate video on this because it's a big topic. All you need to know is that being perfect is not possible. So when you are inevitably not perfect, what happens? You get overly dissatisfied, you get frustrated, and then you're too hard on yourself. If you want to get on the waiting list for the Online Tennis Academy, where I talk about all of this, live Q&As, my podcast live, and so much more, subscribe and add your details in the link below to be one of the first in at a discounted rate.